Hi, hello, it's Maya. Welcome back to my channel. I cannot tell you guys how good it feels to be up and able to sit and talk and not be in pain and not have a sore throat and all those fun things. It's been like a week and a half since I've recorded a video, and I feel like I've been gone forever, when in reality it's really not been that long. But in my defense, I've spent the last like 4.5 days in this goddamn bed. Well, no, we'll just say 5 because I guess the hospital counts. I spent the last 5 days in bed, stuck in my house, and I'm still not gonna be able to leave my house until like Wednesday or Thursday. So, you know, we're just suffering over here. Now, not that I'm like excited to be filming this video, because obviously this is not something that I was, looking forward to happening in my life. But it is something that I've been like talking about on my channel and on, just social media in general. Just getting a little vent out there since October. I've been wanting to update you guys and, like give like a proper explanation of like what's been going on, but I didn't know the outcomes of what was going to be happening until the beginning of this month. So like earlier, like the first week of January. And I just didn't want to like perpetuate the speculations of what could possibly be wrong with me without knowing like exactly what it was, exactly what the outcome was going to be. I just didn't want any confusion and any like, I didn't want to make it seem like I was like stringing you guys along, essentially. So we're finally at a head, and I'm finally at a place where I know all the information and I can finally give it to you guys in one big go. Now there's a few disclaimers that I want to put in the beginning of this video before we get into this. The first disclaimer is that I do not at all want this to come across as me complaining, looking for sympathy, any woe is me type shit. I'm not that type of person. In fact, I hate when friends, family, whatever, like I know it's all in good intentions and I appreciate it thoroughly, but I don't like when people feel sorry for me. So that's not at all what this video is. Like I said, it's just an update because I feel like it's something that I've mentioned on my channel. It's something that I've talked about, so I feel like it's something that you guys deserve to know. Second disclaimer is that I will be talking about medical issues. I will be posting pictures and, explaining some things that may not be things that you want to hear, specifically like women's reproductive organs and bodily functions and just things like that. So if anything like that makes you squeamish, I would suggest that you maybe just don't watch this video. And the third thing is kind of longer, and I'm going to put this in the beginning of the video because I know that people really don't tend to watch till the very end. Now, in the description, you will find a link to a Google document that I made. It's going to go over a lot of the things I'm going to talk about in this video, and it's also going to go over financial things and I guess like receipts, you would say. And it's also going to have links to my PayPal, my Cash App, and my Venmo. I hate this because I hate asking for help from anybody, so that's just, God, I hate it. So I talk about it in the Google Doc. I'm going to talk about it here. I'm not going to touch too much on it because that's not what I want this video to be about. Like I said, I don't want this to be a woe is me type thing. All I'm saying is that when it's come to my health, I tend to not have the greatest of luck. And basically, long story short, 2018, I got a fat ER bill that was like $5,000 plus. I have been making $200 monthly payments on top of all of my other bills that I do pay for myself for the past almost 2 years, and I was so close to paying it off. I had like 300 something in that account, but because of all this had happened, going to the ER, going to have surgery, going to have all these like doctor's appointments, I'm gonna be in fucking debt again. I do feel like I do have to make this disclaimer that I don't expect anything from anybody. I do want to be like completely transparent with everything, and I want you guys to know that if you do happen to donate, obviously I'm fucking grateful for it. It's not anything that I expect out of you. It's just something where I figured it can't hurt. Now, in that transparency, I want you guys to know that I do still live at home with my parents rent-free. I pay for all of my bills myself, my car insurance, my car payments, my phone bills, etc. I can't even think right now, sorry. I pay for all that myself, but I do live here rent-free. I have offered to pay my parents' rent and pay for certain bills of the house. They don't want me to do that. They tell me that as long as I pay for my bills and that I, do my shit around the house, keep the house clean. I basically live here as like a maid. I'm a live-in maid. So I do want you guys to know that I 100% understand fully this is my responsibility, my life, my body. This is all on me. And I know this is taking up a big fucking chunk of this video, and I said that I didn't want it to be all of what this video is about, but I really just want to make that clear. I am not expecting anything. I'm not expecting like a fat donation if you do donate. And if you don't have the means to donate, please don't. Do not steal your parents' credit cards. Don't do anything like that, okay? Literally just supporting me through my YouTube channel and, you know, like keeping a bitch in your thoughts and like giving all those good vibes. There's a lot of ways you guys can support me. So I just wanted to put that out there. That link will be in the description, and yeah, I don't really know what else to say. So I guess we're finally gonna get into this. I'm so sorry that was so long. So hopefully you guys understand, and I'm just gonna shut up because I just need to, so let's just get into this. Alright, so like where do we begin? So let's go all the way back to October. Beginning of October specifically, probably like the 2nd or something, I don't know. I don't have all of the dates exact. Essentially, I started having this pain in like my lower right side, and I didn't know what it was. It felt like a mixture of a lot of things. It felt like gas buildup. It felt like maybe like stomach indigestion. It felt like period cramps. It felt like muscle cramps. It just felt like a whole mixture of things, but in a way that I'd never like felt before. It was giving me like weird like heat flashes. I would be at work and I would get like really lightheaded and dizzy, and it was just really weird, and I didn't know what was going on. And it got so bad to the point where I had to take, I think it was like, maybe it was like 1 or 2 days off of work, because it literally felt like somebody was just like grabbing at my insides and just like squeezing them as hard as they could. Now the pain went from my right hip to my lower stomach, where like it felt like a stomach ache. It went to my entire lower back, where it felt like I just had like a really sore back or like period cramps. And then it was also like radiating down my leg, and it just felt like it was just like right on my hip bone, and it was like the weirdest sensation. So I decided to take myself to urgent care because I didn't want to go to the ER because it's expensive. I didn't know if it was like my appendix or something. I didn't know if maybe I was just having like GI issues. I don't know if it was like my gallbladder. I didn't know. In my head I was like, okay, maybe this is like stomach related. Like maybe I was constipated. I started taking laxatives. I genuinely thought it was like a digestive issue. So I took myself to urgent care and I got an ultrasound done. Because I said that I thought that it was stomach issues, they only did an ultrasound on the upper part of my stomach, and they ended up not finding anything. They did a whole like exam where they were like pressing on my stomach and all that fun stuff. Didn't find anything. Now, they didn't have an MRI machine at the hospital, and they also couldn't see my appendix, which the doctor had told me, you know, like we normally can't really see an appendix on a lot of people, but she said since I was like skinny and smaller, I guess, if my appendix was enlarged, they would have been able to see it. But they couldn't see it, so they figured that was a good thing, but also, you know, if there was something wrong with it, they really couldn't get a good picture of it without an MRI, and they didn't have an MRI. So she basically told me, you know, like, I'm sorry, I don't know what this is. I'm going to send you home with like some omeprazole, which is like antacids basically. And if you notice that it gets any worse, take yourself to the ER and get an MRI done. So I was like, okay, you know, going to the ER is the last thing I want to do. I'm just gonna, you know, go home, see what happens. So got my omeprazole, I started taking probiotics, and then I also started to eat like really like bland food. And within like 2 days after that, I was pretty much fine. Like the pain had gone away. I really wasn't experiencing any of the symptoms that I had been experiencing. So I was thinking to myself like, oh, okay, cool. You know, like maybe it was just a weird like flare up. Maybe I don't know. I didn't know what happened. I'm pretty much good for like the next 2 weeks. And then November comes around. Sorry, my voice sounds weird. I have like a sore throat because of the tube that they put down my throat, by the way. So as I talk, my voice might get like worse. Just a PSA. But anyways, throughout November, it started being where it would kind of like come and go in waves. It would come for like 2 to 3 days and then leave for like 3 to 4 days and then come and then leave and then blah blah blah. And maybe TMI, I'm sorry, but I want to make this as like informative as possible so that, you know, maybe if somebody else is experiencing these things, maybe this will help you figure it out and maybe like pushes you to go to the doctor or something. I don't know. I had sex. Whore. And I noticed that immediately after that, I started getting like this like really dull ache in my side. And I was kind of like, okay, weird, but whatever, I guess. Lasted for like 2 days, went away, and then I hung out with my friend, and we went to a concert together. Throughout the entire day, I noticed it started coming back. I didn't want to cancel on him because I was like, it was his first show, I wanted it to be cool. So anyways, we ended up going to the show, and I was fine for a bit. It went away. It went away for a little bit. But then as the night went on, it just got like increasingly worse. We ended up going back to his place. I spent the night, and sorry, I hate to make this like a TMI thing, but like when I got intimate, it hurt. And I'm like, this is not normal. Like, I've never had this happen to me. I don't know what the hell is going on. And up until this point, I had kept thinking and like just telling myself, you know, it's gotta be stomach issues. Because I was having like gas bubbles and just, I couldn't think of anything that would be wrong with me down in my reproductive area. Because, you know, like, I take birth control. It wasn't like I was, you know, like, at risk for any, like, STDs or anything. STIs? I don't know, whatever. So I was just getting really confused. And I was like, you know what, fuck this. I'm gonna make a doctor's appointment because I need to know what the hell is going on. Because as the months were going on, it kept getting, like, worse and worse to the point where sometimes I couldn't even walk because it was that bad. So I figured my two options were to make an appointment with my gynecologist or to make an appointment with a, like, gastroenterologist. So I figured my cheaper route would be to go to my gynecologist first, because I figured if they don't find anything there, that won't be that much of a bill, and then I can go to the gastroenterologist. So I make an appointment and I go in for my exam. I tell them all the symptoms that I've been having, like when the pain's gotten worse, how it comes and goes, etc., etc. And by this point, it was like the end of November. I think it was like November 27th or something like. No, wait, it wasn't the 27th. Hold up, sorry. November 25th, I have like a pelvic exam done, and it's basically where they like, you know, stick your fingers inside you and like press around and just ask like, does this hurt? Does that hurt? Does this hurt? Whatever. So when he got to my right side, he pressed on my ovary, and I was like, bitch, ow.
That fucking hurts.
He tells me that my two options are probably that I either have a hernia, which I don't know how the hell that would have happened, or I had cysts on my ovaries, which that was another thing where I was kind of like, okay, like, you know, that's weird. I don't know how that would happen. Because in case you don't know, most women who have, you know, reproductive organs, and if they get cysts, they're usually like undetectable. They're usually non-cancerous. They usually come and go. People usually don't even realize that they have them. So we scheduled myself to get a pelvic ultrasound done on December 2nd. After that appointment, the next day, on Tuesday, I ended up getting like such bad pain in my side that I legitimately could not walk when I woke up in the morning. But thankfully, then it took maybe like 2 to 3 hours and it went away. So I go in for my ultrasound on December 2nd, and they tell me like, okay, we're gonna send this over to your doctor. The radiologist will discuss everything that they see with your doctor. They will give you a call. You'll know what's up within like 2 to 3 days. So I think it was like 3 days later. My doctor calls me and he's like, okay, here's the deal. I somehow got 5 cysts, 5 of them. How? I don't fucking know. 5 cysts on the inside of my right ovary. He said that, I'm probably going to say the dimensions backwards because I always do, but he said that my left ovary, which was like completely normal, was like 2 by 3 by 1 centimeters, whereas my right ovary, which was the one that had all the cysts in it, was 3 by 4 by 7 centimeters. And I said, excuse me, bitch? So what he basically told me to do was to schedule a follow-up ultrasound appointment in a month just to see if they would have gone away, if they have shrunken at all, because a lot of cysts do end up, you know, like resolving themselves on their own. And I was like, okay, cool, like, thank you. Like, I have a fucking answer, because I have so many, like, medical shit wrong with me that either just does not have an answer or doesn't have a cure. So I was like, alright, awesome, like, we got this. The entire month of December goes by, and I have, like, no fucking symptoms. I'm talking, the most I was getting was just, like, normal lower back pain. I could partake in extracurricular activities normally. My follow-up appointment was for January 6th. Now here's where the shit fucking goes down. Starting on January 4th, I started noticing that I started getting some spotting, and I was like, okay, because, you know, girls get discharge. However, this was like blood and kind of like yellow, which is not normal. But I'm like, okay, you know what, it's probably just side effects from the cyst. In my head, I'm thinking like, maybe they're draining and they're getting smaller. So the 6th comes around, and I go to my ultrasound appointment, and I have the follow-up. During a pelvis ultrasound, they'll do the top first, like, with like, just, you know, it's like a regular, I don't know, wand thing. And then they will use like and do an internal one. Afterwards, I go on and pick my boyfriend up. For context, later on, he lives about 15 minutes away from me. It's like a 15-minute drive total with the freeway, so it's like a 30-minute drive going from my house to his back. Does that make sense? Whatever. I go on and pick him up. We drive around, we go out to eat, and we decide, okay, like, come back to my place, sleep over, have a grand old time, right? What ends up happening is I start noticing my back hurting, and it starts getting worse throughout the night. And I was like, alright, this is kind of suspicious, but whatever, didn't think much of it. We go to Half Price Books, and as I'm like walking around Half Price Books, it gets really bad. Like, I'm talking like my back felt like it was on fire. And I was like, dude, like, let's just get this shit. Like, I'm ready to go home. I'm ready to lay on my heating pad. So that's what I do when I come home. Like, change, we get in the bed, we start watching like YouTube videos, and I'm laying here with the heating pad on my right side. And I think it had probably been like maybe about half an hour to like 45 minutes, and it just got bad to the point where I started to feel nauseous. I started feeling like just really like lightheaded and just like not there. So I told him, I was like, I'm gonna be right back. Like, I need to go to the bathroom. I don't know what's going on. So I go to the bathroom, and to put it bluntly, I sit down on my toilet and I shit my brains out. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So we're going right back to this bullshit. Awesome. As I'm shitting my brains out, I could feel the puke coming up. Now, mind you, I really didn't eat much that day, so all I had in my system was M&Ms, and not all I had, but like later on, M&Ms and cheese fries. So as I'm shitting my brains out, I feel it coming up, and I'm like, oh fuck, and I turn and I throw up profusely into my into my bathtub. I'm like starting to get like hot flashes, cold flashes. I'm starting to like shake. The dizziness is just like overwhelming. It kind of felt like vertigo too. So I come back into my room and I like go on my knees right here next to my bed, and I look at him and I'm like, yo, I'm so sorry, but I think I'm gonna have to like take you home. I was like, because I don't fucking feel good right now. I just want to be able to like sleep in my own bed and just be comfortable and, you know, like not like be a burden on you. So I was like, I need to take you home. Now remember, like I said, 15-minute drive there, 15-minute drive back. I bundle up while I'm also like sweating, so I'm like, do I put on clothes? Do I not? It's 30 degrees outside, fucking winter in Wisconsin. Oh my god, I'm gonna die. We go outside, I puke outside on my deck, not on my deck, next to my deck, before I get into my car. Now, it hurt so bad to like go like this and, you know, like press on the fucking accelerator to the point where I was using cruise control on the side streets, because I could not bear to have my fucking foot down on the pedal for more than like 5 seconds at a time. I spent the whole drive just like massaging my side, rolling the windows down, rolling them back up. Dude's trying to talk to me. I'm like, I can't have a conversation right now because I will fucking hurl. Like, please just, I know you have good intentions, but oh my god, shut up. It's just a lot, okay? Like, I legitimately felt like I was going to like fucking pass out. Finally get to his house. He gets out. He's like, let me know. How you doing? Do you need anything? I'm like, no. Please go. Adios. I will text you later. I turn the other way, I open my car door, and I puke M&Ms and cheese fries all on his front drive area. The drive back, all I'm thinking about is like, okay, bitch, like all you need to do is just make it home, okay? You just have to make it home. Once you make it home, you'll be fine. I get in my house and immediately drop to my knees because our garbage is right by the door. Immediately just drop to my knees and then just fucking like throw up everything else that was left in my stomach. It was midnight at this point. My mom just so happened to wake up, and she came into the kitchen because she heard me come home, and she sees me like obviously puking, and she's like, are you okay? And I'm like, honestly, no, I'm fucking not. Like, I'm on my hands and knees, like in fetal position, on the verge of tears. I was like, I'm in the worst pain I've ever felt. I was like, I haven't had anything wrong with me in like a month. I was like, I thought that this shit was like going away. In my head, I'm battling myself because I'm like, I don't want to go to the fucking ER because, like I said, I was so fucking close to paying off that $5,000 hospital bill, like, for the past 2 fucking years. And I'm like, I'm really gonna fucking, like, have to do this again. And so I told her, I was like, you know what, I'll be fine, you know, like, I'll be okay. I was like, I'm just gonna, you know, go in my room, bring a pan in here with me in case I throw up, lay on my heating pad, and just try to fucking fall asleep. Yeah, no, that lasted about 5 minutes because I had, like, Googled this before, but I was just Googling it again just to, like, make sure that I wasn't, like, making shit up. And sure enough, I was experiencing all the signs of a ruptured cyst, which I will, like, put the symptoms here. That's exactly what I was experiencing. And I would have just been like, okay, like, you know, whatever, one of them fucking exploded. But that is something that needs medical attention right away because you have all this, like, empty fluid that's just randomly fucking exploding inside your body. Like, I don't want to get fucking, like, sepsis or gangrene. But I'm like, oh my god, like, I was like, now I really need to go to the fucking ER because this is not okay. So it's like 12:30 at night and my mom takes me to the ER and I get to spend the next 4 fucking hours there. They put me in a wheelchair because I could not walk. I was basically almost on the verge of tears in the waiting room. I'm pretty sure I did cry. I fucking cried. It took a little bit for them to get me to my room, and then once we get into my room, I immediately like go on my hands and knees. And you know how like when pregnant women are like in labor, they do that thing where they like rock back and forth because they're in so much pain? Yeah, that was me. They were taking like forever to get to me, which I know hospital, they can't always like get to you right on time. It's always done by like a, you know, like patient by patient basis. But I'm like, yo, literally, like, I'm dying. You need to come in here and like fucking give me like some kind of like pain medication. That was the main reason I was there, to be honest. Like, I wasn't there because I was like,
what's going on?
I was there because I knew that I needed to have an ultrasound done again to see if one of the cysts had ruptured, and I needed pain medication because I knew that I was not going to be able to survive like fucking anything without some kind of medication. Long story short, with that whole ER visit, I ended up getting 3 shots of morphine throughout the night, which barely fucking helped me, to be honest. I got 2 full bags of fluid from the IV because I was so dehydrated. I had to get another pelvic ultrasound done, like, you know, where they bloop. I get discharged and they give me some painkillers to go home with, and then I go home, and then I have off for the next I think it was 3 days. This all happened on Monday night going into Tuesday morning, so then I had Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off. So there was 3 days of work that I missed. So then on Wednesday, I get a call from my doctor, my gynecologist, who was calling me about the follow-up that I had Monday, which was like, you know, like the first like ultrasound that I had gone to where all the shit that I just talked about happened afterwards. So he calls me, he's like, how are you doing? And I'm like, I am not good, my guy. And he's like, oh, like, what happened? And I was like, well, I explained him everything. I was like, I went to the ER on Monday. Basically just gave him the rundown, and he's like, okay, yeah, so obviously, like, you know why I'm calling you. He basically tells me, your cysts have not gotten any smaller. In fact, it looks like they've gotten, I think, looking at my sheet, they had gotten a little bit bigger. I think the first, like, results, they were filled with, like, 58 milliliters of fluid, and I think on the second one, it was, like, 64 milliliters of fluid, so they were getting bigger, and they were getting worse. And he's like, okay, he's like, I'm gonna get you in as soon as possible so we can talk about surgery to get your ovary removed. And I said, oh, well, all right then. So I didn't think it was actually going to be that day, but they like switched some people around. They got me in, and so we sat down and we had the whole discussion about what they wanted to do, which basically was this, because I don't know how the fuck to say any of that, and basically just, you know, remove the entire ovary, get the fuck rid of it. Because what he was explaining to me, the reason why I was experiencing these like flashes of pain, like randomly, it wasn't like a consistent thing, is because when your ovary has cysts on it, and when it gets to be 8 centimeters, that's when the ovary twists on itself. Well, mine was at 7 centimeters, so it was beginning to twist in on itself, and every time it would twist in on itself, that was when I was getting the pain. And then it would untwist, and that was when the pain would go away. So he's like, there's really like nothing else we can do other than just remove the entire ovary. He's like, there is a chance we could like go in and just like, you know, pop them, but if we pop them and then the fluid gets into your system and it just so happens to be cancerous, which he said there's like a 1 to 2% chance. He said it's very low. You know, like that cancer could obviously spread. And I was just like, you know what, dude, my guy, my homie, I don't want kids. I was like, so you can take the whole damn ovary out. Side note, I thought that was kind of funny too, because he was like, so I'm assuming that you want children? And I just started laughing, and I was like, oh god, no. I was like, I absolutely like don't like kids. The thought of pregnancy scares the shit out of me. I even told him, I was like, if you want to tie my tubes or like take both the goddamn ovaries out, you could do that. And like, honestly, shout out to my fucking doctor, because you know how many times people like say, you know, you have to have a certain amount of kids or you have to be a certain age in order for like doctors to like tie tubes and shit. He basically was like, you know, I've tied tubes of like 21-year-olds. He's like, if that's something that you want me to do, I can do it. But I just felt like there was like so much already going on, and I'm like, we'll just stick with taking out the ovary, thanks. So he's like, okay, cool, we're gonna call you in a few days and get your ovary taken out. And I think that kind of pretty much sums up what's been happening, because it is now Monday, January 20th, and I had my surgery on Wednesday, January 15th. So I have been without ovary for a good 5-ish days now. So yeah, I had my surgery on that Wednesday. It was at like 8:30 in the morning. I had to go at like 5 something. Had to be there by like 6:30. Yeah, you know, just normal like surgery procedures. I'm very well versed in the whole hospital thing because of like all the times that I've had surgeries or have been to doctor's appointments or whatever in the past. Yeah, you know, it wasn't anything that out of my realm. So yeah, I've basically had every day off since Wednesday. I don't go back to job. I don't go back to work until Thursday of this week. So, yeah, I spent the last like 5 days in bed doing literally nothing but watching Hoarders and getting fat. And yeah, that's it. You want to see my scars? Let's show them. I'm still a bit bloated from cuz I guess okay, they didn't tell me this, but they like pump air into you, like CO2 I think it was. They like pump air into you so that like your stomach expands, and yeah, that was weird. So I'm bloated. I was really bloated from that. So anyways, basically I have an incision here and an incision here and then an incision in my belly button. And I don't know, they like use tools to move things around and then scoop it out and then put a camera down here and then sucked everything out there. That is the story of why I have been dying for the last 3 months and why I went to the ER and why I now have one ovary. So if you also have one ovary, we have a special connection, and I just want you to know that. I do want to like talk about like the recovery thing really quick, because I had my surgery on Wednesday. I got to go home that same day. It ended up being around like 4 o'clock that night. It would have been sooner, but they wouldn't let me go until I peed because I had a catheter in me and they wanted to make sure that I could pee on my own. But I kept telling them, you're not giving me enough water. I'm like, I need like hella things to drink. I'm like, I need like more IV. I need something because I'm dehydrated as fuck. Like, y'all, I can't pee. And they wouldn't believe me, so then they had to do a freaking ultrasound. And like, your bladder is full at like 400 to 600 ml, and mine was only at 200 ml. And I'm like, I told y'all bitches, this is why I'm not peeing, so y'all need to give me some more ginger ale or water or something so that I can pee. I wasn't that bitchy, but I really was just like getting frustrated because I'm just like, bitch, I'm in pain. I want to go home. Like, I want to fucking lay down in my own bed. I don't want to sit here and watch goddamn My Cat from Hell all day. So yeah, I was able to go home that same day, and pretty much all I was told to do was just like take it easy. Obviously I have like my aftercare stuff. For Wednesday and Thursday and Friday, it really fucking hurt to like move around, to get up. I was walking like a hunched over old man 90% of the time, actually 100% of the time. And it really wasn't until like Saturday, Sunday where I'm like, okay, cool, like I can maybe start walking normal. I'll be like fully recovered and back to normal in like a month, which is great. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm so sorry if this video was very long and boring and whatever. I mean, if you found it boring, you're not watching this part anyways. But if this helps you out in any way, that's great for me. I'm just like eternally grateful that I found a reasoning for why the fuck this was happening to me, and I got to take care of it. So I'm thankful for that. Thank you for all the comments, like all the well wishes, all the like, you know, suggestions of like what this could possibly be. Once again, I will remind you / do a shameless plug that Google Doc is down below. Once again, please do not feel obliged to donate anything. You don't have to. I'm like, just don't feel obliged, okay? But I am trying to keep track of everybody who has donated so far. If you have donated so far, thank you so much. If you've shared it, if you've sent me memes or just like sent me a message in general, thank you. Like, thank you for everything. I think all I really have to do now is just recover, get these bandages off me in like a week, have my follow-up appointment, and then start paying off these medical bills. So yeah, that is the story of why I've been dying. And why I'm hopefully going to be better. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you got this far, please just make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Do whatever you want, or don't. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.